Welcome to Blue Talks.
Hi, everybody. I'm so happy to be here in the University of Miami. It's an honor for me to share my story today. So my name is Gloria, and I want to tell you about two powerful forces, that is the fear and the freedom. It looks like they are opposite, but they are really deeply connected to each other. And I know about that because I live in both extremes. So let me tell you a story. I was kidnapped and held in captivity for 90 days in the dark when I was 25 years old. At that time, I have a 3-year-old girl. And when they kidnapped me, the only reality I had was fear. That fear paralyzed me and took myself away from my body. And that was creating trauma. I didn't know about it, but I was going into a trauma that I didn't know it was going to affect me for a long time. But also at the same time, it was going to teach me the biggest lessons of my life. So being kidnapped through 11 days, before those 11 days, I was mad. I was angry. I want to scream. I was with a lot of nervous and always wondering what's going to happen to me. But guess what? The fear was telling me all that story. They're never going to rescue you. You're never going to see your family again. You're never going to see your daughter again. And to me, it was like fighting with that fear all the time. And of course, I was in a situation that to anybody, it can cause a big, deep fear and paralyze you. Every time they opened that door, I was wondering what's going to happen to me. But 11 days after being kidnapped, I hear a voice telling me to calm down, to breathe, and to see what was going on. And I listened. If I didn't listen, I probably now would be here. And the miracle happened right there and there, because when I come, I became a superhuman, because I was able to see everything was going on and be able to manipulate the kidnap situation. And how? I was kind to the kidnappers. I started forgetting them, that I was there. I was saying, thank you for the water, thank you for the food, and thank you for every single moment that they allow me to take a shower. There are things that people don't realize, that those simple things, like taking a shower, and having your own bathroom, and finding a bar of soap with a little bit of pubic hair, and you have to get that pubic hair and fling it into the air and keep going and keep washing your body, not even thinking, that pubic hair, for who is that? Oh, it's disgusting. Wow, I don't want that. I didn't have that choice. But my calmness and my human power, my awareness make me to go through. And those simple things became a big, huge situation for me. It became something very important to take a shower and to be grateful. And to be grateful with those kidnappers. And every time I said to them, thank you for the food, they was surprised. Like, why this lady telling us thank you for the food, for the water? They start questioning. And they was like a little bit of like surprised that they have me kidnapped, and I was so nice and kind to them. But they didn't know I was listening to that powerful voice telling me, you can keep going. Keep going. I will show you the path. And that's what I did. So it became my day of my release. When they released me, everybody was happy. My family was super happy to have me at home. But guess what? I was not free. I was physical free, but I was not free, because as soon as I get out from that kidnap, I auto-kidnap myself, and it took me a long time to be real free. I built an invisible cage around me, and I didn't want to get out from there. I have fear for everything. I have fear to be alone. I have fear to be in the darkness. I have fear to trust people. I have fear to go out in the street. I have fear that my daughter goes away to do something. It was a nightmare. I don't wish this in anyone. And I know there's a lot of people here that probably don't need to be kidnapped, but they have an invisible cage. And that invisible cage, the key is within. And I was like one day questioning myself, this is very ironic. When I was kidnapped, I feel free because I can think, I can see what I need to do, how I can survive. And I was able to amplify all my 5 senses, and also to empower my survival mode. And then when I get out, I became completely kidnapped into myself. And for me, it took me a long time to understand why they kidnapped me. What is the reason I'm here? Why I went through that? I was mad to life, even mad to God sometimes. But why? I never do anything to deserve to be in captivity. Until one day, I went to a place for a forgiveness retreat. And that forgiveness retreat changed my completely view of life. I was doing already the forgiveness with the kidnappers. I was doing that in survival mode, but I didn't know until I went to this retreat that I was doing to survive, to save my life. And I start first forgiving myself to be so hard on me, and in forgiving all that anger that I have towards life. And once I did that, and once I went to therapy, and I went to do different retreats, and I talked to people, my voice become powerful. My silence become a podcast. And my trauma become a power for other people to overcome trauma. Because trauma, we can overcome that 100%. We can shape the trauma, we can understand the trauma, and we can be in a mission for that trauma. People think that trauma and they become a victim. I was a victim of the fear, and I was like always in that cage, in that invisible cage, and desperate to get out. And I know that fear is so strong in you that cut your wings for all your dreams that you wanna create, the life that you wanna surround. And I noticed that my fear is not different of the fear that a lot of women that comes to me that I coach every day that have toxic relationships, that sometimes they get quiet and they need to speak up and they don't do it because they are in fear.
And to be able to get to the freedom, it takes courage. It takes a power on you to be able to have the freedom. Because freedom is just not like, I got released from the kidnap, I'm free. That was a physical freedom. But like I mentioned before, I auto-kidnapped myself for many years. And my relationships was bad because I was in that cage. I didn't want anybody to go in that cage. I didn't want anybody to interrupt that cage that, in quote, it was protecting my life, but it wasn't. And that's what I told all the women that I help and say, the only person can get out from that cage is you. But you need to understand why you are going through these situations, because every single trauma, it comes with a lesson for you to understand and for you to help other people to overcome the same things that you already overcome. So I want you guys to today to see if you have an invisible cage around you. And if you do, please recognize that and make sure that you are capable to get out from that cage. Because I went through hell, and I came back from that hell. I came back with my soul, with a lot of very wiser, my heart open, and my mind clear. That we cannot live in fear. We have to train our fear to be able to be in this earth. And right now, we need it more than ever. Because if you let the fear control your life, you're not free. And if you don't manage that and you don't understand your actions, your emotions, and everything that make you to suffer and make you to feel different of the normal life, you're gonna be in that invisible cage for the rest of your life. And we don't have too much time to see that. We don't have too much time to sit down and dwell in our traumas. Traumas is for the evolution of ourselves. And I didn't know that until I realized that forgiving is the way to go. And you have to forgive yourself and the people that hurt you. And when I did that, when I forgive the kidnappers and I understand why I forget the kidnappers, then I understand that my mission was to help other people to understand that forgiveness is the most powerful tool in life that can transform your life and can transform the surroundings of your life. Right now, fear is all over the planet, and more than ever. But if we let that fear control us, anybody can control us. And to go into the freedom it could be simple, but also could be challenge. But that's why there's a lot of information out there and a lot of people that can help you. So raise your voice. Don't be quiet and get out from that invisible cage. If I was able to do that, to find the key of freedom, you also can do that. You have power, you have instincts, you have survival mode. And once you train that fear, you have the key of freedom. Thank you.